Hi friends and readers, you are here with Senthil Kumar and you are watching Expert Insight program. And today there is a special guy and we are going to see about the special topic. Normally we focus on the topic which is related to engineering or technology or about something related to educational stuff. But now today Mr. Srini, he is having around more than 10 plus years of experience and he is going to say more insight view about the language, the learning of new languages. It is not about programming language, it is a spoken language, whether it is English or French or German or Chinese or Japanese. How the language, the learning a new language will influence your career. Yes, language. If a person knows the language, believe me, you will get a very good opportunity. Mr. Srini having a wide experience in an automobile industry. He is going to tell more about the how to learn the languages and more interesting fact. And one more interesting fact about him is he typically learned most of the languages by staying in India. Yes, he used to travel a lot, and but he is very dedicated to learn the languages, and because of these skills he got very good recognition in the organization wherever he worked. And let us have a very good interaction with him. Let's have your insight view from Srini, and keep on watching this video. Stay tuned and over to.
So here I welcome Mr. Srini on behalf of Reference Engineers, on behalf of your dear viewers. I'm here going to welcome Mr. Srini. Hi Srini, good morning, and very happy to see you in the Reference Engineers platform. And we people, we all are very curious about to understand the language platform. Yes, it is nothing other than the engineering, other than any technical aspect. The language, by seeing your performance, by seeing you, a lot of people got inspired about the importance of the language. I know you have traveled a lot, most of the places you have been visited, but the influence of the language, you can say in your own experience. So we are ready to listen from you with some lot of curiosity. Please, over to you, Srini.
Thank you, Sendil. Good morning to everybody. And I really appreciate and thank you very much for organizing this session. It's really exciting to be part of the great conversations and insights that you're organizing every time. So today we're going to talk about why language is so important and what do we do these days, and how do we contribute in meaningful ways by learning a new language and creating an impact to society, to business, to a lot more different things around you. So, as Senthil was opening up the speech, so the language today is multilingual. One cannot just stand alone by just knowing one or two languages. So it's so important today that you have to be multilingual to compete, to overcome a lot of challenges. And the language stands as a very important platform to interface people, culture, patronage, history, connect in meaningful ways, opening more door of opportunities and things like that. So today we say that English is a universal language and everybody learns English as the first and foremost language. But on top of that, we have to also understand that there are a lot more languages that we learn by passion, by excellence, by getting more of opportunities. And today's world has created a lot of rapid impact with new ways of teaching, new ways of interacting, new ways of contacting native people, and learning their language with full of the immersion. So with that context, I would say that why it is so important to learn a new language and what is the impact.
Okay.
So point number one. Um, so when we say that why do we need to learn more languages? So the fun fact is that your brain cells are working up, you know, very exciting ways. You know, your muscles are just squeezed up for the new language, for the new thinking, new possibilities. That's really a fun fact, I would say. But on top of that, learning a new language is the way you connect to people, you connect to business, connect to history, language, culture, patronage, and a lot more different things. And by learning a new language, you not only open up the door of opportunities, but also to shape up, uh, you know, your competencies, multilingual competencies, which are really important uh, in today's world.
Well said, Srini. We would like to listen from you. Yes, of course, we know that you are an engineer, mechanical engineer background. And what makes you to go a very good move for learning the new language? You might be seen lot of situations. Yes, at this moment, the language is very important. I would like to listen from you. So what makes you to learn more languages?
Yes, all right. So it's a very good question indeed. What just triggered me, what motivated me to go on a new language is mainly the innate abilities. Basically, you know, learning a new language brings me new hope, new possibilities, new thinking, and of course, you know, learning a different world. For example, I started to learn French in 2010, roughly 10 years back. Then
Right.
I not only emphasize the importance of learning a second language, but you know, French is again you know, a global language, because you know, the two important languages of the world in the United Nations is, one is English, the second is French. This is mainly you know, uh, the Francophonie, meaning that the French-speaking nations, though they are not native French-speaking nations, Francophonies are the countries which has the French as its official language, or it's kind of a colonial past of the French Empire. So this concocts some kind of you know, importance in learning French as a language. And also I was always interested to learn a new language, to learn the you know, culture, the differences, you know, the way of thinking. For example, in French, people do not exactly think the way the English people thinks. So for example, some phrases in French are independent from the rest of the Latin languages, because there's difference between the languages in Europe as well. So it's not only just a Latin based language, but it's also very important the way they think. So you know, it's so important that the people's vision, mission, their daily thinking, and all of these things are it's kind of it's very unique to that particular language. And in that sense, I started to explore the possibility of new platform, new understanding, and to elevate my what to say, you know, communication abilities. I undertake French as a language from 2010, but it took really 2.5 years for me to get a rhythm of that language, because the method of learning is kind of very different from rest of the language. Though English is being taught to us right from the schooling, so we have been learning English for about 15 years, and then we get to do the pace. So, but French, unlike, is quite different. So I took really hard and fast efforts to get into the groove, to be able to speak independently. And it took almost 2.5 years for me to go on a physical class, sit 3 hours every weekends, and then listen to lectures, taking notes, and things like that. So it really took a lot of time and effort uh, to to improvise the competencies of multilingualism.
Great, very impressive, Srini. And moreover, what do you find in the market now? See, you are learning the languages, you are getting some outstanding performance in an organization as well as the society. But what you are observing from the from the other side, what is the impact if you people have limited with one language? Say, for example, English as the one language many people know. It's an universal language. What makes you different, and what is the impact if people doesn't have any other alternate language? They still don't know what to speak. If any French people or any other German guy, how to deal with. But what makes the difference, and what is the impact when you come into the organization strategy?
So exactly, it's a very appropriate question. So when you have a unique competency, for example, I say that you speak fluent German, fluent French, or fluent Spanish, or whatever language it is. So you actually stand out from the rest of the others, and you have an upper hand when there's an opportunity knocks on you. And it's
Okay.
also so very important that these days, though English is taken as a reference language, it's being spoken across the world, it's widespread. But if you're very unique, uh, you can learn German, French, Spanish, or even Italian, and this gives you an excellent opportunity to go and work in Europe, for example, or you get the first hand impression of working with the native people, and that's just really something outstanding, rather than just trying to connect only in English as a common platform. And if you know a specific language, for example, even Cantonese, Chinese, Japanese, all of these languages are very unique. And if you're a master of that language, plus your educational background with some technical competencies, commercial excellence, and everything is going to add up. And this is going to give you an uplifting career opportunities, which nobody else can actually get.
Very impressive. What a tailoring performance. This will be a tailoring performance you did, and you succeeding still. And it is a path for the globalization opportunity. Am I right, Srini? So it is a very
Exactly.
good
So
path for the
exactly,
globalization, which we are lagging.
exactly.
Moreover, in the Asian side, many people are very lagging in learning the other languages, and you are being a very good example to proven this kind of things. As I seen you, you are a very good nature lover. I am seeing you are sitting in a very good environment now. And again, you are speaking a very good. You are speaking like a native Englishman. So how you got this kind of skills? Even English also. Even from the childhood, many of them, including me, we started learning the English. But your your speech is somewhat like a native speaker. How you got this practice?
Yeah, as I said, there's kind of some personal experience which transformed me to talk like a Native American or Native Brit, though I'm not used to it, but I kind of constantly improve myself the way I can. I would quote a personal example for this. Usually, when I'm traveling outside India, I get to meet a lot of people, specifically, from different countries like America, Australia, Europeans, and every time I get to interact with them, and I find most of the people are not speaking for more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes because we are not able to connect to them openly because of the
Okay.
communication barriers, and they
Okay.
often say that your accent is not understandable, or the thought process sometimes is not sync with what exactly they receive. So sometimes when you go to a camping, when you go to exotic places, and you find people sitting just next to you, but you're not able to communicate openly because there is a barrier, and this is something quite difficult. And the way that just I got the insight is basically how to speak for hours, for continuously speak for hours when you don't know anything about the other person. You can actually put some common interest, and how do you communicate? You keep continuing conversations, and it's often difficult. What I feel is that when I go outside India, uh, most of the impression of the foreigners with Indians is basically they're techies, they are very excellent in doing business, they are doing high profile jobs, things like that. So none of them really expect that a backpacker just coming out of the way and doing a rough and tough traveling across the world. and that just makes them really surprising, and then that just makes them really awe-inspiring, because they never find Indians doing this kind of kind of an European task. It's not an Indian task, though. Not exactly. A lot of Indians do that. Less than 0.1% of Indians does imagine or think of doing such you know um, unexpected exploration of ways, or finding unknown destinations, things like that. So what just really changed me, or transformed me, is that when you're just traveling in a group of people, a bunch of people, when there's a striking conversation, you got to talk to them, you got to just make them understand uh, your experiences, your taste, your choices, your preferences, and then you share common interests, things like that. So it really helped me, because I have to continue to talk to them for about 6 hours, 8 hours, and that's the way you just tune your hone your skills. You're
Okay.
kind of improve your communication and things like that. So that's how the language is so important, which we started off this conversation. That's what the essence of this whole discussion.
Oh, very sensitive information, Srini, very sensitive information. And moreover, I have seen many people. They are willing to learn the new languages, as you said. They got inspired and they got motivated, and they started going for learning a new languages. And at some moment, they are ready to stop, or they are unable to focus, and they are get diverted into another one. I would like to listen from you to give us the great advice to how to be keep on motivated to learn the new languages. So many of them I have seen in and around us. So I need your recommendation or advice
E-
strongly.
It's exactly essential. This is in fact a very, very good question. Most of us are interested to learn language. We go into a language school, we try to learn something, then we drop out. This is a kind of fundamental mistake or fundamental problem every one of us are facing. And even I've seen a lot of Europeans, Germans, Italians, Spanish, they go to a language school, they try to kind of learn English for about a year or two, but still they're not. So the main point is that it's easy to start something new, and it's also easy to give up when it gets hard. That's the fundamental story here. And most importantly, what happens is that when you want to learn a new language, you have to immerse yourself. It's not about just learning alphabets, nouns, structures, grammars, and things like that. It's not about that. It's about how do you think yourself in that language? How do you independently think yourself that the language is part of your thought process?
I
That's
mean,
how you.
thinking in the sense, normally, how the people will think. Just as an example, can you tell me how we need to think?
Yes, exactly. For example, uh, when you're finding yourself uneasy or uncomfortable to converse in a language which you are currently learning. Let's say you're learning Spanish or French, and you want to converse in the language. So the main obstacle people are facing today is they're not able to think independently. For example, let's say you're picking up a task, for example, you're waking up in the morning, you do a brushing, and then you do a breakfast, and then you do your daily chores, and everything, every sequence of activities that you do on a morning to evening, would you able to visualize or just think in that language platform you're learning? So that makes a difference, instead of just learning the phrase, or picking up few important things and then trying to repeat of those. I would recommend that you try to think the way the native speakers think, the
Mhm.
real the language essence. That just makes a difference. What I did in French as well is that my professor kept saying me every single time, the first 90 hours of your language learning should never translate. So meaning that when you try to translate a phrase or a story from French to English or vice versa, and that's not going to help you to learn more. So you got to accept the fact as it is in the language and the first 90 hours of learning. and then you should continue to put your efforts to think independently in the language instead of just picking up phrases, learning, reading, and then memorizing. Those kind of things does help, but also it's important for you to independently think and then understand and then you speak out. So that's going to be more effective, and it's going to create an impact.
Okay, okay. So it means when you start learning the new languages, you should start behave like a native speaker and started communicating like a small baby, how they are speaking the language. Exactly.
Exactly, that's the point.
Okay,
That's the
that's
point.
the one. That is the,
Because the
we should
more
be like a child behavior. We need to be very hungry and we need to start limit to the particular language to start speaking. Am I right, Srini?
perfect example. It's a perfect
Yes, yes.
example, I would say. Yes.
And what is the mode of learning? Any idea about that? See, somewhat,
Yes.
I have seen a lot of applications in the mobile phone or somewhere, but I need to approach you. What is the best way? Say, for example, if I want to learn German or any other languages or Chinese or Japanese, so which is the best way? What is the
Yes,
right
it's
approach?
exactly. It's a fantastic question, I would say. Um, yeah. So the aspirants who wants to learn a language, so they have to kind of stage up themselves into beginner, intermediate, and advanced speakers. Uh, so what happened like 5 to 10 years back was that the most appropriate way of learning a language is to go into a language school or an institution and then spend hours listening to lectures and then sitting with a group of people, striking conversations, and then a method of learning is going to be gradual because you're going to learn one over the other. There is you know a standard book that's applicable for different levels of speakers, and then you go through the book and then you actually kind of interact with the people, and then you listen to what your professor says. And there were limited CDs or transcripts available in those days to learn a new language, and the podcasts and live radios were very limited when I was learning a language at 2010. But though the internet explosion was still there, but I would say that it's not so intrusive. Um, but what's happening today is that the innovative technologies have changed a lot, and computers, smartphones, applications, and all of these things have just really helping people to learn the language quicker and faster than ever before. But in principle, I don't leave the philosophy of going to a language school, sitting with the people, listening to lectures, and be part of the classroom culture. That's still very efficient way of learning a language. I would still recommend it. And if you have time, you have to sign up. You have to go physically. You have to dedicate yourself, and then you continue learning a language. This kind of curve of learning a language is always efficient, and there's no flaw in that. It's a flawless learning of a language. But nevertheless, today I would say that there are really some nice applications. What I would recommend today is Duolingo. It's an app. It's a free app in App Store or in Play Store. You can actually download that. You can do kind of quick basic study. There are a lot of flashcards. There are a lot of interactive ways of just clicking and then connecting phrases, speaking, and then confirming your pronunciations and things like that. So this apps really works well. It just goes different levels, and I would say 90 to 160 hours of learning still exist in this app. It can fetch you really a nice learning environment. I would say that this can help you to definitely go on a basic conversation skills. I would recommend that app. There's also a premium Duolingo application, but I really don't know about it. Though I think I really trust that application. Uh, but it's really, really, really useful for beginners to different levels of learning skills.
Okay, very informative, Srini. Um, as of now, how many languages you are more comfort?
So as of now, I speak English, French to certain extent fluent, but I'm just losing the grip of it because you have to continue speaking to the people. Should never lose the grip of a language, though you've learned it, you have memorized it, you have like, um, you know, you would say that you're certified, but still you have to continue speaking with the people. But though I would say that my
Okay.
French is kind of medium to kind of fluent, but I'm not very sure. But
Mhm.
Spanish, I'm at the very beginning level. As I
Okay.
said, I'm using the Duolingo app, so which is kind of
Okay.
free app. And then I'm trying to learn a basic Spanish. It helps for me. I
Okay.
think the listeners or audience can try for Duolingo if they are interested to for free learning.
Great information, Srini. Very, very great information. What I understand from you, actually, your education background is in India, even higher education or school education, and again, you are continuing in the organization, in Indian organization, Indian-based organization. You have been worked in the multinational company, but the main location is in India. I can say
Yeah.
the probability of travel outside is very less, but still you are engaging with a lot of native speakers around the world. And again, you have been inspired us to have a very good engagement of new language learning. And again, I am want to listen from you how far it takes to learn to get adapt to the new language fluently like a native speaker. You can say as an example of French, maybe 2 years or 1 year or 6 months. This is very, very important information. I would like to listen from you.
Yes, it's again a fantastic question. Uh, for me, it took about 2 years to learn a language. The reason why is because I did the language school only during the weekends.
Okay,
There's
so
also
it
another
means weekend also there are the opportunities to learn in the language,
yeah.
like a part
So
time. Okay,
yes,
which
there are
language particularly, in the French or?
yeah, I did French for about 2 years, and I did in the part time in the weekends.
Okay,
Uh, so it took about 2 years for me to get the grip of the language, and I also had an advantage to talk to native speakers while I was working with Renault, a French corporate company who manufactures automobiles. And uh, since I was working on some of the projects, I get to speak in French with some of the native speakers that helped me to enhance the possibility of improving my speaking skills and listening skills, and that's an added advantage. And in top of that, um, every weekend, so you got to spend about 6 hours learning, reading, speaking, and then going on to language immersion stuffs like documentaries, movies, and things like that. So naturally, it's going to take a lot of time because it's not easy to learn a new language. So the curiosity, the engagement level does make a significant difference, because if you're just going to do for 3 hours and then close your books and then you take a pause and then you come back and next weekend and probably forget a lot of things. So
yes,
it's very
exactly.
important for you to consciously learn a language. Then you should never lose the grip of the language, or you know um, the way you have to rapidly involve yourself is to read every day a news, or at least hear a radio, or just turn a couple of pages in your workbook. That can help you to keep a tune of your brain to in a continuous learning mode. So this is what I did for about 2 years, and then I managed to listen, to speak, and then write a decent French language.
Great.
And I would say that's how the natural process goes on.
Great, great, great. Very inspiring, Srini. And moreover, not only this, I am seeing you that you are getting high recognition and rewards because of these skills. You are always having a cross-culture mentality. You are thinking in on their side, and you are just giving a very good benefits to the organization as well. This is what I understand. I'm right, Srini?
Yes, Denzel,
Yes,
thank
yes,
you. Thank
okay.
you for your.
And this is one thing, and I have seen a lot of opportunities going on. Even though if it is an engineering background or any graduate background or diploma, or even sometime high school, with
Yeah.
additional language competency. I have seen a lot of opportunities, French speaking or German speaking. So what do you think about this one? This is having a very good influence in all the multinational company. Am I right, Srini?
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. So
So what are the opportunities you have? I can say only the candidates or the without the graduates. Some I have seen many people know many languages and how they are surviving in the market or how they are growing in the market.
yes. So it's again a really interesting question. Um, the way they do is to stand out from the rest of the others, because you have multiple skills, and then you say that I know this language, I can interact with a native speaker, or I can actually grab an opportunity from an outside world. Let's say it can be German, French, Cantonese, Chinese, Japanese, whatever the language it might be, but you have an edge over the others when it comes to a language speaking opportunity. And then if you are really competent, and then you're able to go deep into their values and cultures, and then the way you respect each other when you speak a language of their own. So this is something is extremely important. It's a core um, transformation that you actually do for yourself if you're stepping up in your career ladder.
Oh, great. Because what I understand exactly you said is right, and what I understand is many of them they doesn't qualify for any graduates, but with this language skill they are growing. This is what I really impressed in the market, and including you.
Yeah. So one of the fun fact or interesting point that I would like to share with you is that it's not only here. I've seen a lot of Europeans, for example, Germans, Scandinavians, Italians, Spanish. They all go on a language learning school for about 2 years when they are 18 years or 20 years old, and everybody wants to learn two extra languages apart from their
Mandatory.
mother language.
Mandatory.
And language learning is kind of a fundamental for them, for Europeans. If you see, for example, I would say another interesting fact that in Europe, most of the countries they don't speak in English. For example, if you go Italy, Spain, Portugal, the English is not so good. Nobody speaks a perfect English. But if you go to Netherlands is the first country outside England who speaks excellent English. And then you go to Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, Finland. Uh, these countries they speak excellent English. Denmark speaks excellent English, and then comes Germany, and then France, and rest of the Europe they don't really speak good English. So the integral part, the very fundamental asset anyone wants to create is that they go on a language learning school for 2 years. So what I was saying is that it's not only for the job market, it's also for learning uh, arts, culture, history, and a lot more things which you actually want to trace back. So
Great,
I believe
Srini. Great, Srini. And final thing, what you are recommending for the young generation as well as everyone
I
related to
highly recommend if you're 18 or 21 or in a bracket of 18 to 25, I would strongly recommend to learn a new foreign language, to muscle up
okay.
yourself, to go for a new career transformation, to go on for the world is so big, the opportunities are so big, and we don't have to restrict ourselves just to one particular language. And language is a gateway, or it's an opening door into a new world. So it is excellent for you actually to uh,
To switch
use
over.
this. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Srini. Thank you, Srini. You provide us a lot of information, and we got really inspired to learn a new language, and you just guide us in the right way. And you thank you so much for sharing your great experience, even though you are in the India with an Indian education background, and you proved that yes, we can do anything. We can go for the cross culture at any places. So this really give us a very good inspiration. And moreover, yes, the application what you told, it's really help us to a lot of peoples to learn the skills from the home, sitting at the home, the new languages.
Yep. Thank you, Senthil.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Again, we would like to have a very good interaction in the future, to do a lot of workshops in with refresh engineers.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Senthil. It was a wonderful time discussing with you. So I think it's really an awesome platform for us to discuss, to open up new ideas. So really, thank you. And I would say that we will meet another time with exciting discussions.
Yes, yes. Moreover, thank you,
Thanks.
Srini. Thank you so much. See you again.
Thank,
Yeah.
thank you.